What's up, everybody? We are back. It is Tuesday. Yesterday was rough, at least for me. I took a beating. So here's another day where we start the stream talking about how things didn't go that well, but all we do is talk about winning. So, yeah, you know how that works. Jake, how'd your Monday go?
I got most of my entry fee back, so it was a little disappointing after the hot start, but could have gone much better. Could have gone worse, I guess. But yeah, I can't say I got clobbered. I stayed afloat, so those are fine nights as well. You got to have some of those too.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't even want to look. I guess I'm gonna pull it up here now to see how I did officially, but I think it was bad. I think it was real bad. I didn't realize how early we were. I didn't realize it was only 9:03. Super early on the West Coast, that's for sure.
Yeah, guys like Chris aren't even up. They're not even thinking about being up.
I assume Chris is miles from awake. He doesn't strike me as the type of guy that gets up at like 6 o'clock in the morning West Coast time either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I've always been a morning person. Always.
Me too, kind of.
I don't like it though. Like, I wish I was the type of guy that likes staying up late, but I don't. I like getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and just having all this time to myself.
Me too.
We're gonna give it a minute or two, just let a couple people trickle in. This looks like quite the slow start, so I'm surprised at how many like expensive pitchers there are and how very little interest is coming to these guys today.
Yeah, I wonder if the weather in Philadelphia is scaring people off those two guys.
Maybe.
I think that could be some of it. But just so everyone, I mean, we have ownership up if you're a premium member, so you can check that out. We've got some pretty healthy ownership projected for James Paxton, who is making his first start in 12 days. He threw a 40-pitch bullpen session, and I don't know how on Saturday, I think, and I don't know how that's going to, or like a simulated start. I don't know how that's going to affect his pitch count today, if at all. But the line looks really good, so we're gonna have to do some digging on Paxton later in the show.
Yeah, I like him. I don't know if I like him 46%, but
Pretty
he
crazy.
rated out really well for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 75 back yesterday, percent. Could have been worse, I guess.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. Something like that. It's been a rough 10 days. I'm feeling good. The grind is here. Morning, everybody. And by everybody, I mean the two of you that are in the chat right now. Let's just dig into it. People can catch up. We've got a ton to talk about. 14 gamer today, which is... I'm just tired of these huge slates. They're not going anywhere. That's the worst part. They're even going to get worse. You ready to talk Dodgers Phillies?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm also pretty sick of this weather nonsense. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
it's the worst part of doing this.
I agree. That Indians Pirates game last night.
Did they have three
There's
separate stoppages?
Did you see what they did in Baltimore? They started the game. Gausman got 2 outs, and then they went into like a 45-minute delay.
Really?
Just the dumbest thing ever. They knew the weather was coming. They started the game.
So stupid. Anyway, let's dive in. Dodgers and Phillies. Dodgers 3.8 run implied total. Phillies 3.7. It's a 52% chance to win for the Dodgers. Kenta Maeda going for LA. Aaron Nola going for Philly. Right off the bat, we've got some weather issues. Looks like it's going to be raining most of the night in Philadelphia. Whether that means they get postponed or delayed or whatever, who knows? You got to keep an eye on it, especially with these two guys going. But we're really not projecting all that much ownership. Just 7% to Maeda, 10% to Nola. I don't really have much interest in either of these guys. I'm a little heavier on Nola than I am on Maeda, but I think Maeda grades out pretty poorly here. Are you looking at either of these two guys with any sort of bulk?
I wasn't, but I assumed they were going to get some ownership, like over 10%. And I'm not sure why. I think these guys deserve to be owned on this slate, especially when you've got some punt pitchers that actually grade out really well. Maeda's striking out almost 34% of righties, just like under 3 xFIP, 40% ground ball rate. He's been just fine against lefties as well. So I like Maeda. I don't love his price, but like I said, you can, if you're not stacking Coors, you can go Maeda and one of these cheaper guys and still get a really, really good stack. So that's interesting. Same thing with Nola. It's a tough matchup against LA. I don't want to mess with LA, but if he's going to be whatever we have him at, he's like under 10%, right? On DK.
7, yeah.
I mean, I think he's got to be at least somewhat popular here. So it's just a little bit confusing, and I respect both of these guys. The total is 7.5. That's the lowest on the board, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I just think they deserve some ownership. So I'll get over the field if they're going to stay at these ownerships.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get there. Well, I mean, this game's unique, obviously, because of the weather, so I'm going to ignore the talk of the weather for now. I don't think I'm going to get there one way or the other.
I mean, if the weather looks good, I'm assuming these guys will go up a little bit just because, like, people who MME and stuff will have exposure to these guys.
Like, I got 1% Maeda on my first crunch.
Yeah. Right now I'm thinking, like, 15, 20% of Maeda, like 15% Nola, because who else are you going to pay up for besides Paxton? I'm not paying up for Barrios, I don't think. And then like Garrett Coles and Coors, so it's just really tough.
I think the answer is nobody.
Yeah, well, then be different, right? So that's what I'm going to do, at least, or try to do. If everyone's
I'm really
going one
liking
way.
bats today. I have a lot of bats in like good spots.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them.
Because if I'm not paying up, like, we have very little ownership to the Red Sox. That's a spot that I'm looking pretty heavily. I'm going back to the Nats again. Mm-hmm. Surprise, surprise. So I'm making that sort of distinction today. I've got a lot of Tanaka. We'll get to that eventually.
Sure. I mean, I have a ton of Tanaka as well, so I'm right there with you. But if no one's going to pay up for pitching, these guys are super talented, and they've got like tons of upside if things break right for them. So if the weather looks okay to play, then I'm in at low ownership for both of these guys. Mostly Maeda, but I'll have some Noah as well.
Aaron D, I have no idea what that means.
I'm not looking at chat right now.
You asked me if I'm the ghost.
That's a guy who did really well in I think it was the Minimax or the Table Setter. I saw an Osmo logo up top. I'm not sure who that is. It's not either of us.
I'm Josh Engelman on everything, so I didn't know who that was. Yeah, once I knew that I was sucking huge dongers for yesterday, I didn't check a lot of the outcome. I was just down. So.
Ponce de Leon. Yeah, this is the Hall of Fame celebration shark. That fun guy to root for, so I'm glad it worked out for him. The strikeouts weren't really there, but just impressive.
Yeah.
Like, throw 7 no-hit innings in your major league debut, and then the bullpen blows it for you at the end.
Tom took down the $6 by 22.
Did he really? Is that the 100K?
I think so.
That's funny. Yeah, wait, that's not surprising.
Was it bigger than 100K?
Was that?
Was it more than 100K actually?
I think it was like the awful payout structure. So it was the one that I was
yeah, I mean I avoided the shit out of that, but
yeah.
I mean I'm gonna pull it up here.
I'm pretty sure it was 300,000 in total.
You're right.
100K to first, right?
Yeah. Tom, wait. I think you might be talking about a different one. 288. Unless I clicked on the wrong tournament.
Oh, is he talking about FanDuel? Could be.
Oh, has to be. Okay, never mind. I don't care enough to figure that one out yet. I was looking at the $6 on DK and I was like, yo, the top score is 222 and that's not Tom.
Yeah, it's
FanDuel.
probably
Oh, yeah,
20K.
I'm not hunting that one down.
20K. Tom sneezes at 20K.
Yeah,
That's nothing.
toilet
Man.
paper for tonight.
Yeah.
Are you liking any of the bats here? Because I have no Dodgers, no Phillies.
Not really. Just like I said, two guys that I really respect. If I was going to one team, though, I think it would be the Dodgers, just because that lineup's so stacked and they're just hitting bombs all the time the last few days. Really deep lineup. So if Nola gets in trouble, I don't know how good that Phillies bullpen is. I think they're actually okay, if I remember correctly. But I need to start looking more into bullpens as we get towards the end of the season, because they're going to play a bigger role, I would think, with guys getting called up and only going a few innings and stuff. So I need to brush up on my bullpen knowledge every day. But
Phillies bullpen 8th in xFIP.
8th highest xFIP?
8th
or
best.
8th best. Okay. So, yeah, above average overall. But who knows, reliever by reliever, who's going to come in. So I'm not going to be heavy on either team hitting. I will have very minimal amounts of Phillies one-offs, and then probably a couple Dodger stacks in there just because they're so good.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in the Phillies. I don't have any interest on either team on DK, actually. Just not grading out really well. We have a ton of games in like the north of 5 run total type stuff, so I don't need to go dumpster diving under 4. So I'm going to pass there. A couple one-offs would be okay on FanDuel. Like Jock Peterson is cheap leading off. I'd be fine with Hoskins or Santana or Nick Williams, but I don't see stacking up either of these teams as particularly viable. And the public's not on them either. Very minimal ownership across the board. Nobody more than 5%. Jock Peterson's at 5 on FanDuel. Everybody else is 1, 2, or 3. So
yeah, I think that's how it should be, honestly.
I'll have one line of each team on both sites, and that's it.
Do you do the thing where you roll one lineup with each team as a stack?
Yeah, I'll do one majority stack of every team on both sites. Just once, just in case.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But at least in baseball, I always want to have at least one bullet in the gun. It might not matter, but
even if you're 1 out of 150, you're going to be overweight on like 4 or 5 teams that are under 2% or 1% type of thing. So
yeah, and it ends up being like 1 out of 200 for me too, not just I'm playing even more unique lines than that. So it's a very small percentage. Okay, yeah. Look, you got to keep an eye on the weather for this one. It's not looking great now. So pay attention there. I can't imagine I'm going to get to my 8 or Nola with any bulk. This game's just a stay away from me.
That is fair.
This next one's not, though. Red Sox and Orioles. Red Sox 5.5 run implied total. Orioles 4.3. It's a 62% chance to win for the Red Sox. Drew Pomeranz going for Boston. I feel like I haven't said his name in a while. Jeffrey Ramirez going for Baltimore. I've got a little bit of Pomeranz, nothing crazy. He's at a really decent price point. All the righties for the Orioles are a little scary, but it's not like they've been doing much against righties. 80 weighted runs created plus, sub 30 hard hit rate. So I think Pomeranz is in a decent spot, but what I'm looking for here are the Red Sox. I'm double the field on FanDuel. I am like 2.5 times the field on DK. I'm very, very happy with paying up for Red Sox bats. 5.5 run implied total is just a 1/10 of a run behind the Astros, who are playing in Coors. Give me all of the Red Sox, especially if they're going to be so low owned.
I agree. Just kind of targeting good teams, again, just like yesterday. Good teams that are going to go under-owned for whatever reason, as everybody flocks to Coors. I'm assuming that's what it is. I haven't paid attention to much of the ownership we have on hitters just yet, but looking at the Red Sox on DK, they're based on their total and just how good of hitters they have at the top against a righty in a very good park with the wind blowing out in a game that may have some weather concerns, may not, but if it does, even better.
Boston-Baltimore looks worse than LA-Philly, so we'll see.
I mean, if it looks like it's going to play even like half the time, I'm probably going to keep a lot of Red Sox in my lineups. Just
If it
because
looks
there's
like
such
it's going to play half of the time, I'm going to have no Red Sox or Orioles.
whatever. I mean, I'm going to have some Red Sox probably regardless. I think it's just too high of an upside, too high upside of a spot to like pass on unless you're really certain the game's not going to get in. So yeah, I mean, Moreland, Devers, I have no issue with either of those guys, even Bradley in the 9 spot. I love Benintendi, and then you've got the 3 righties, 1, 3, and 5. So it's just going to be tough for Yeffer Ramirez, who is someone I like. He has been missing bats, but it's a different game when you're going up against Boston. And then Pomeranz on the other side, I'm not that interested in. Just too many righties here for Baltimore. I wouldn't go to pitching at this point in this game because I think there's probably going to be some delays. But I think hitters are I'm paying attention a lot to this game as the day goes on. So if it looks like it might get in even with multiple delays, I am very much in on the Red Sox.
So you said too many righties for the Orioles. Should we care about that? 369 slugging,
yeah.
137 ISO, garbage weighted runs created plus, garbage hard hit rate. It doesn't seem like it matters.
Yeah, I was talking more on Pomeranz's side. Just a lot of so he's had a limited sample this year, but I actually don't even know how many starts he's had this year.
It doesn't feel like a lot. I don't feel like we talk about him all that much.
Yeah, he's had a handful. Hasn't started in the majors at least since May 31st. So I'm assuming he's done some minor league work and maybe on a pitch count. I don't know, but I can look that up right now.
He started a game. He went 6 innings on July 18th. 5 Ks, 2 walks, faced 20 batters. So I don't think that he's going to be in any situation where he's super limited.
Yeah. So all right, that was in AAA through 69 pitches. So whatever, he could probably get up to 85, maybe 90 if things went really, really well. Got some swinging strikes, so looked okay. Just kind of looks okay in his last few starts as they've stretched him out. So I get the Pomeranz play, but again, I think it's just too many righties, weather concerns, and then I like guys that are cheaper than him too. So I'm probably off of Pomeranz.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're not projecting much ownership. We've got him at 3% on DK. I've got 4. I think that's reasonable.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
All right. Are you looking at any Orioles bats? Do you like the righties on the opposite end of it?
Trumbo really is the only guy. So Trumbo, maybe Valencia if you want, but he doesn't even pop for me. So
Valencia is big time on FanDuel, only 2,500.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I wish he had that third base eligibility on FanDuel though. He'd be even more appealing.
Yeah.
Moving on. Jakes and Blue Jays. Twins 4.5 run implied total. Blue Jays 4.3. It's a 52% chance to win for the Twins. Jose Barrios going for the Jakes. Ryan Barucki going for Toronto. Again, not a pitching matchup I'm super interested in. Barrios at 10K. Public's not really on him. I'm not really on him. And, Barucki is just not really on the board. Talk to me about Barrios. I feel like you're going to like him here because no one's on him.
No, I mean, he worries me a little bit. Looking at him before the All-Star break, I remember his velocity was down a little bit. This is his first start since the All-Star break, actually. He hasn't started since July 14th, so 10 days. And his velocity was down. So it was down 5 starts ago, or 4 starts ago for a couple starts, went back up, then went back down. It's not great when that type of thing is happening, a couple miles per hour especially. So on the road against a Blue Jays lineup with some power, Morales hitting very well. You got Smoke and Solarte that are super cheap. I actually don't mind the Blue Jays stack against Barrios. He has trouble with lefties in general, so I don't think it's that great of a matchup for him. Even if I thought he was 100% healthy.
Yeah, I'm mostly avoiding the Blue Jays, actually. They grade out a little bit better on FanDuel, but I don't like the 4.3 run implied total. I don't think anybody's particularly like value here. So
Granderson? Not Granderson? Or Solarte? These guys are dirt cheap.
grading out really poorly. Big fan of Barrios in like a matchup based thing. I just don't like him as much because of his price tag. It's kind of a balance of I don't really like the Blue Jays because they've got a tough pitcher, and then I don't really like Barrios because I don't like his price. So I end up not on like anything really here outside of the Twins bats.
I mean, I like the Twins, but if the Blue Jays going to go under own, I'm not looking at ownership.
4% aggregate, so basically average.
Okay. I mean,
nobody higher than Russell Martin at 6% is the highest guy on the Jays.
Yeah, I don't love the bottom of their lineup, but they are just so cheap. And if I think Barrios is maybe dealing with a nagging injury, then I should be on them, right? Like when they're that cheap. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know. The 4.3 run implied total makes me think that I should be leaning more towards Barrios.
Yeah, that's fine.
An interesting game. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 teams at 5 runs or higher today. So it's something has to break really specifically for me to want to go down to a team that has 7/10 of a run less projected. It's a big gap.
Average hard contact percentage for a pitcher is a little over 30. I mean, you can look that up on FanGraphs. It's like 30, 31, 32 type is about average. But it depends on like reliever. Obviously, that's going to be skewed. I can look that up, actually. If you just go to FanGraphs.
League average for hitters is 35%.
Yeah, for pitchers, what is it? Do you know?
35%.
Oh, it is?
How could it be different?
Yeah, I guess.
35 coming in, it's 35 coming out.
Could be. Well, maybe more guys up top are, I don't know, pulling the average higher. I guess that would be.
Let me make sure I'm not wrong. I don't think that I am.
Let's see.
League average this year, 35.5.
Okay.
That's for starters and relievers. If we want to look at just starters, it's 35.8.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if it's been lower in past seasons.
I'm pretty sure it has.
Let me check. I have it here, so this will take a second. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. You used to be right. It was 32% last year, 32% in 16, and then below 30 in 14 and 15.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably due to like launch angles, like type stuff where guys are just trying to hit home runs or they're striking out. So there's less balls in play, but the balls in play that are hit harder in general, I would assume.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's either home runs or strikeouts.
3.5% more hard contact.
That's kind of crazy. That's a crazy jump in 1 year.
What is
so maybe
that? What's that relative jump? So, 35.8 divided by 32. It's an 11% jump.
Damn.
That's sizable. So yeah, it's been 35%.
That's kind of crazy, actually. I would not have expected that.
So I've got a lot of Dozier today. We didn't really touch on the Twins totally, but Dozier, Rosario, Mauer, Mitch Garver. These are guys popping up for me. I don't love Garver, but catcher option here. They're just they work out well because they've got a lot of unique positions at the top of the lineup. First, second, Escobar, third short eligibility. It's not just this sea of outfielders like Boston or other teams like, the Yankees. Although the Yankees don't count for today.
Yeah, I've got Dozier up there starting to hit a lot better lately. Um, Robbie Grossman, I don't mind, and then Escobar, of course, for only 4K. These guys are pretty cheap as well, so I like Escobar, lefty lefty even. He hits lefties above average for the season. Gets a lot of hard contact, doesn't strike out. He's about league average, so I don't think Barocki's that good, especially not against righties. And yeah, I don't mind the twin stack at all. So I don't mind the game stack here, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm game stacking this game. But if I crunched and I had a Twins Blue Jays game stack, I think that's perfectly fine.
I'll pass on the Jays. How late are you, Matthew? You are 28 minutes late, I think. 26 minutes. 26 minutes late.
That's all right. We just talked about how much we won for the first 15 anyways.
Yeah.
So.
I just talked about how awesome I am for wearing a tie with a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Cardinals and Reds. Cardinals, 5.2 run implied total. Reds, 5. It's a 52% chance to win for the Cardinals. I didn't look at this matchup yet, so this should be fun. Austin Gomber going for St. Louis, whoever the hell that is, although decent K rate. Homer Bailey going for Cincinnati. There's no pitching in this game for me. It's just hitting. Did you do any digging into Austin Gomber by any chance?
Yeah, so he's the other guy that the Cardinals are starting. He's not making his debut. So he's making his starting debut, I think, in the MLB.
Okay, so I need to pull his innings then.
He's had a handful of relief appearances in June and early July, and then he went down. Looks like they started stretching him out. 52, 71, and 80 pitches in his last 3 starts. Wow, that was only 3 days rest between the first and second. But then normal rest in the third start, and now coming off an 80-pitch outing. Looks like he can get swinging strikes as well. Not as much as I saw with Ponce de Leon, and obviously not as stretched out. But for 4,200, I think he is at least worth a flyer in GPPs if people aren't going to be on him. So I'm going to be over the field on Gomber. I don't exactly know what to expect, but I like lefties more than righties against Cincinnati, especially if they're going to have Scooter Gennett and obviously Votto from the left side. Not too worried about Peraza or Phillip Ervin. Duvall does strike out, so I think there's a path to success for Gomber.
Matt 1 milli. My ownership is the left. Public is the right. Yeah, Gomber, man. I guess at 4,200, he's worth like a value peak.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, I don't really like Lauer that much, so. And I thought Lauer honestly was going to be 15, 20% because that's what he would have been yesterday. Yeah. But it's just a GPP thing. I'm not going crazy with Gomber. I don't think it's that great of a matchup, but I just would rather play a lefty than a righty against Cincinnati. And you saw what Ponce de Leon did. I don't think he's as good as Ponce de Leon, but Eugenio Suarez is probably going to hit a homer off of him and welcome him to his first MLB start this year. But outside of him, not super worried about this Reds lineup.
So I've got a lot of Reds on FanDuel. They are my number 7 stack. I'm over the field. I've got a lot of Peraza, a ton of Suarez. Yeah, I don't love lefty stuff, but I'm willing to go to Votto. I think he's a little underowned. It's not as if Austin Gomber is going to go all 9, so Votto could see a righty potentially.
I'm assuming he will at some point.
Yeah, Phillip Ervin is only 2,300. I think he's grading out kind of nicely here, just as an outfielder on. I'm just talking FanDuel specifically. I don't really have much Reds. I'm with the field on DK, okay. But they're really cheap on FanDuel, and I think that works out really nicely, especially if you're paying up for all, like as I am paying up for a lot of bats in lieu of any major high-end pitching. So I'm going to take a shot, especially the 5-run implied total. I'm going to take that shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly reasonable. Again, you never know how it's going to break with these guys in their first starts.
Yeah.
you never see, like, you have to see him pitch in tough spots. In, the guy gets on first and second with one out. You never know how they're going to react to that. And Ponce de Leon just didn't allow base runners besides a couple walks, I think. So that was kind of an outlier performance for an MLB debut. This could go completely opposite. So that's why I'm not going crazy with him. I'll have a bunch of Suarez just because I do every time he faces a lefty. 205 WRC plus for Suarez this year. Just legitimately one of the best hitters in the MLB against lefties. And people don't play him as much as they should, I don't think. So that's going to be where I'm getting the majority of my Reds exposure.
There you go.
Bailey on the other side.
Yeah, I'll pass on Bailey, but I'm crushing the Cardinals, man. Number 4 stack on FanDuel, number 3 stack on DK. They're popular. They're very chalky. I'm going that way, man. No reason not to. Carpenter's price is getting a little ludicrous because of his heater, but like Marcelo Zuna at 3,600, that's one of the better plays of the day.
Yeah, they're so cheap. It's like everyone's going to play Carpenter in their stack just because you got to spend the money somewhere. And these guys are all like around 36 to 4,300 at the top of the Cardinals lineup. They're just so easy to fit with whichever pitcher you want. So I like them. My favorites are obviously Carpenter and DeJong, but like you said, Ozuna is so cheap. Dexter Fowler, if he's going to bat 7th, I think will go a little bit under-owned, and he actually grades out pretty well for me. So that's why I get different.
Joe the Show, good eye. Typo in my formula. Did look a little low to me. That's why I was bouncing back and forth to that sheet. We're good. It didn't affect anything that was already in here, but I made some tweaks today. Dude, Carpenter, man, he's just such a heater.
Yeah.
I want to see. Fangraphs has like those like daily WOBA charts. I want to see how his looks over like the past month. I bet you it's a straight line up. Just hitting dong after dong after dong.
Yep. He's just insane right now, so.
Where is that? Did they get rid of those?
Matthew Prodal usually never play Muncy, but gave the GOAT a chance in my lineup, and it paid off. Yeah. Dude, always Muncy. Always play Muncy against a righty. And maybe against the lefty, but mostly against the righty.
I'm bringing Carpenter's thing over here. Am I sharing with you?
You are, yeah.
Since, why is that game 340? Not be what that's saying. I don't know. Look at how high that, like he was at a rolling average, very low here, and then just straight up. Dude's been crushing the ball. Go Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I hate that I didn't have him on those days that he blew up, but it was just like really weird slates and situations where I wouldn't normally play.
Doubleheaders.
Yeah. So yeah, load up on the Cardinals, but they're chalk for sure.
Haywood Vincent, what happened to the night shift guys? That's still going on. It's on iTunes.
Yeah, Haywood. iTunes posts the night shift exclusively now. So
let me post the link in here.
There you go. Check out our iTunes feed. You'll get the exclusive Night Shift podcast along with some other additional audio.
Here we go. All right, I'm posting it from this is the Night Shift for this morning or last night. There you go. If you click on that, just click subscribe. You'll get a notification on your phone every time that it becomes available, which is about 8 Eastern every day.
There you go. You ready to move on?
I'm ready.
This is going to be an interesting one. Zach Wheeler playing the role of Eric Lauer yesterday. Padres 3.6 run implied total. Mets 4.4. 59% chance to win for the Mets. Eric Lauer for San Diego. Zach Wheeler for New York. Zach Wheeler, 45% ownership on DK, 17 on FanDuel. I have about half of that. Eric Lauer, only 8%. That's where I'm at as well. The floor is yours, man. Talk to me about Wheeler at 45%.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting very heavy ownership, and we got it. It's just super obvious, right? Like 7,700, you're at home, you're against the Padres, who strike out over 25% against righties this year. Wheeler's coming off a performance, 7 2/3, I believe, 7 strikeouts. And then the thing I like that I've been looking at a lot more is the Mets are just letting him go. So he's thrown over 100 pitches in each of his last 5, 113 in his last start before the All-Star break. You just don't see that often from a $7,700 player in a great spot. So even if things go poorly early, he should be able to get 5 or 6 innings as long as he doesn't get completely blown up. So I think his floor is pretty high, and I think his ceiling is 25, maybe 30 points here if he has one of the starts that we've seen him have this year. It's not like he hasn't done it. He's been inconsistent, but at this price, it's tough to fade, honestly.
Yeah, like I want to have a lot of him, but I don't want to have half of my lineups with him. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
it is not that good of a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, but it's not that good.
I think it's that good. Is he a little bit overowned? Probably, just because it's baseball, and it's not like he's a perfect pitcher. He's volatile. Could he get blown up? Yeah, but he seems pretty safe to me. That's the thing. Like,
There's
I think
just no one around him. You're either going up another 900 to Tanaka, or, I mean, I've got a lot of Kyle Hendricks. We could talk about that in a bit. But after that, there's nobody else until you get to Pena that's getting any ownership.
Who's Lauer 25? No. I was talking about Wheeler.
Yeah, Lauer's not getting to 25.
No, Lauer's not getting to 25. Yeah, I was talking about Zach Wheeler there for chat. I don't know if they're joking or what, but
I don't see Wheeler getting to 25 either. But
I mean, I think Wheeler's ends up in the 15 to 20 range.
Yeah,
like that's like
I've got him at 15.6.
Yeah, and for 7,700, that's perfect at this spot. There's not a lot of high upside pitchers on the slate, in my opinion.
Not. Yeah, look, I like Wheeler. I've got 30%. I assumed he would be chalk. I didn't assume he would be that much chalk. So
you're good, Sharp. You're good.
I'm going to come in under that because I don't really have a choice. I don't get the 17% ownership for Wheeler on FanDuel, though. 9,000. Like, he's not even cheap.
Man, that's pretty expensive.
Holy hell, 9K. Our audio quality is garbage right now.
Do we sound bad?
It sounds like we are doing this show in 1999 on the internet. Sorry, guys. There's no way I can correct this either. We do have a really bad storm outside, so that could be affecting my connection.
Well, if you lose power, I'll just go solo.
Been down
like that one time. Yeah.
Yeah, so look, I'm coming in under on Wheeler. Do you like any of the bats here? I got a little bit of Mets on FanDuel.
Here, let me check. I like some of the righties against Eric Lauer, Bautista and Flores. Ahmed Rosario, if he leads off, is very cheap. And that's really about it. I don't know. This game's not that interesting outside of Wheeler for me. Are you hedge stacking? I mean, I know you'll have one Padres lineup, but do you have anything more than that?
I don't. But they're just not. They're not that kind of team.
Yeah.
At least not for me.
I wish they had more power, or it was a better park. One of those two. I think.
Or they were good.
they have power, but it's all from the right side. I mean, Hosmer's fine. Not a real big home run threat here, though. So Villanueva and Myers, I actually don't hate just as one-offs if you want to leverage against Zach Wheeler, but
yeah,
I'd much rather get a power lefty in there, but they just don't have any.
It's something I'll explore a little bit more as we get closer to lock, but I don't see myself going to much more than like 2 or 3 lines of Padres. Let's do it. Oh, Peter Works. No suit today. Just a tie. Fancying it up a little bit.
Yeah, we both wear pink. Look at that.
Yeah. I love this tie, too. And it's Hugger's Gonna Hug shirt today. We should all hug it out, people.
Yeah.
Happier. Alrighty, moving on. Pirates and Indians. Pirates, 4-run implied total. Indians, 5. It's a 60% chance to win for the Indians. Joe Musgrove going for Pittsburgh. Kind of sad. Normally a Musgrove guy, not today. Shane Bieber going for Cleveland. I have 0 pitching in this game. So if you have anybody, let me know.
Bieber is a little bit boomer bust for me. It's not a great strikeout matchup. He struggles with hard contact, but just so not all of my exposure is in Tanaka in this range and Wheeler. So I think Bieber is a way to differentiate. He's had big strikeout starts, and he's had some blow-up starts too, but just as an ownership play, I think he makes for a decent pivot off those 2 guys. That is really about it, though. Like, I'm not going to Musgrove. I will have limited shares of Bieber, and then it's the Cleveland bats here. This
is the weirdest part for me. I didn't really get the Cleveland bats, but I'm getting all of the other expensive bats. It's like the Indians slipped through the cracks somehow. I don't like that whatsoever. This couldn't be a better spot for me outside of just, I think that Musgrove's like a decent pitcher. But I got no Indians. I don't have any. I can't justify that. I like it. That 5-run implied total looks good. You know, they've been good against righties all year. They've been crushing them, 40% hard contact. So this will be one that I'll take a deeper look at. We're not projecting any ownership. 2% aggregate on FanDuel, 4% aggregate on DK. That's basically right at average. I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, anytime you can get the Indians low owned at home against a righty, I'm automatically interested. In that split at home against righties, under 20% K rate, 208 ISO, and a 123 WRC plus that is right behind the Red Sox 124 WRC plus. So they've been one of the best teams at home, and then you throw a right-handed pitcher in there, Musgrove, who gives up some hard contact to lefties. He just strikes them out under 19%, 457 xFIP, and I'm in on the Indians. I like that their run total isn't out of control here. I like using them on Coors slates when they're at home. They're super expensive, but I'm not paying up a ton for pitching. I don't think anybody is, so I thought they would be higher owned than what they are, and especially those top 3. I always talk about them, but I almost always have exposure to them against righties.
That's the thing. Like, I feel the same way. I'm paying up less for pitching than the public is, and I'm still not getting to them, which is not what I expected, I guess would be the best way to say that. I would have assumed that I had a ton of Indians, and I just don't for some reason. So that's where I'm at.
You gotta trust your numbers.
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, they're costly.
Yeah.
That's really all there is to it. They're not a cheap team.
They're not a great value by any means, but just when you got to pay over $5K for the first 3 guys, it's like the Red Sox. On days when the Red Sox have a 5 total, they're probably not going to come up as great values.
Yep.
So that's what it is, but they're still a huge, high upside team. The Pirates are on a 10-game win streak. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, they've been really hot.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, never pay attention to any of that.
They're 3 games above 500 right now.
Pirates bullpen has been very good over the last month or so as well. So that's
none of it matters. What's their playoff odds? 15%.
The Pirates?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're with the Cubs and the Cardinals, Brewers. Although I don't think the Cardinals are any good. I should pay attention more to MLB standings.
Should you?
No, probably not.
Does it really matter all that much?
Not for us.
Mid-July?
Yeah, maybe in August, mid-August, I'll start checking out the standings.
This game's basically a full stay away. I don't have the pitching. I don't have the hitting. If you wanted to force in an Indians bat stack, I like it. But otherwise, I'll be totally off this game.
I will not be. I will be on the Indians.
Any weather there? Yeah, a little bit of rain, but it shouldn't matter all that much.
This game should be able to be cleaner than what it was last night.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Moving on. Yankees and Rays. Yankees 4.1 run implied total. Rays 2.9. 63% chance to win for the Yanks. Masahiro Tanaka going for New York. Yanni Chirinos going for Tampa. How deep is Chirinos going into this game? Nothing, I assume?
Probably not deep at all.
I didn't adjust his innings when I pasted this in, so. I had a bunch of them, but I shouldn't. So.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Blake Snell here.
Yeah.
Obviously, he went on the DL, so that kind of sucks. But
Tanaka, 14% expected ownership. I've got 24. He's the guy that I'm going heaviest on. Sub 3 implied total for the Rays. This lineup has a lot of swing and miss in it. They've been above average against righties on the season, but Kiermaier, Crone, Wendell, Robertson, all these guys project to strike out more than average. So I like Tanaka a lot. He's probably like my favorite guy of the slate. Combination of score and salary.
Yeah, I mean, I love Tanaka here. Just like you said, lots of swings and misses in that Tampa lineup. He's coming off what I think is a pretty impressive start on the road against the Indians. I just read the numbers about how good they are at home against righties, and he just allowed 2 runs, 6 1/3, 5 strikeouts. Swinging strike rate was above 10%, and then the chase rate was one of the highest he's posted of the year, over 43%. 77 pitches, so I would assume 90, 95 is probably a logical jump if things go well here, and that should be enough for 8,600. The Rays, they strike out above league average, bottom 5 ISO against righties this year. I'm pretty sold on Tanaka here. I assumed he would be higher owned than what we're showing right now.
Yeah, I'd much rather spend $900 more to get to Tanaka at 14% than Wheeler at 45.
Yeah.
Basically, we've got Tanaka at 14, Wheeler at 45, so total of 60. I have Tanaka at 24, Wheeler at 29, a total of 53. So, I'm kind of just pulling some of that crazy 45% of Wheeler and just dripping it into Tanaka a little bit. I'll take the hit on $900 for bats. Tanaka just grades out super well for me.
Chirinos may go deeper than what we initially thought, through 70 pitches 5 days ago. So
I'll give him 4 innings. I think that's probably reasonable estimation. It's not going to matter. I just don't want him to come up like he did before.
He went 5 2/3. That's his highest in the majors or the minors this year. So against the Yankees team, not an easy matchup. But I don't know. Do you like bats in this game that much?
I didn't get anything here. I'd be fine one-offing Stanton or Judge, but it's one of those situations where all of their talent is congregated in outfield positions, which makes it hard to put together a stack that's valuable.
Yeah, I got Hicks and Judge are my 2 favorites here, but not crazy about the Yankees stack in Tampa.
I guess I like Brett Gardner a little bit, but I don't know. This game's all just Tanaka for me.
Yeah, love it.
Dropping down to one of my favorite stacks of the day, the Oakland A's. A's 5.4 run implied total. Rangers 5.3. The 51% chance to win for the A's. Frankie Montas going for Oakland. Mike Minor going for Texas. No pitching here again for me. It's all hitting. A's #1 stack on FanDuel, #4 on DK. One of my favorite teams of the day. They're chalky, as are the Rangers. This is the most popular game by far of the day, and I completely agree with it. I have a lot of A's. I have way less of the field, or way less than the field of the Rangers. We've got them at 15% aggregate ownership on FanDuel. That's 5% higher than any other team. That's crazy exposure. I'm way under the field there. We have them at 10% on DK. I only have 6. So again, I'm fading the Rangers by all accounts, and I'm gonna have a little bit more Oakland.
All right. Yeah, so the A's, obviously huge performance last night. They put up like 14 or 15 runs, and they've been awesome outside of Oakland, just all around. But against lefties, over 200 ISO, 121 WRC plus. They're in the top 5 in a bunch of stuff we like. On base percentage, not striking out that much against lefties. So now you got Mike Minor, who can miss some bats, but against righties, he's going to have some trouble with giving up quality contact, and that's very appealing. Obviously, 5.6 run total. These prices aren't even that restrictive either. There's just nowhere to pay up tonight on either side of this game for a total. What is that? 11, but these guys aren't even expensive, so it's hard not to fit some of them in. Even at these ownerships, it's just such a good spot in that 100-degree weather in Texas.
Yeah, everything fits. It's a pitcher's park. It's hot as shit. Neither pitcher is particularly good. Recipe for runs, I think. I think they're gonna mark up Mike Minor pretty bad tonight.
I would think they're just good against lefties. Oakland is a pretty bad hitter's park, so I probably underrate them when they get outside of Oakland, but they've been legitimately good. I don't know, who's your favorite bat? Like ownership, everything baked into it that we have right now. Favorite bat in this game on both sides?
Oh man. Okay, so the guy that I have the most of is Marcus Semien.
Okay.
I would say that my favorite bat is probably Chad Pinder.
Okay. I like it. I don't know why we have such low ownership on Pinder.
Right.
Unless they're going to go Kana in the 2-hole. They may do that. I don't know. But those guys should both be in the top 5 or 6 for me, for sure, if I was making this Oakland lineup. But Piscotty's been good against lefties. Chris Davis, obviously. Jed Lowry. They've got quite a few good hitters. So I think my favorite play actually is Matt Chapman, just because he's batting 7th. People didn't play him last night. He was 4% owned. And there were players in the stack that were 15, 16. So I love how much power Chapman has, especially against lefties. I don't think Mike Minor's going to be able to strike him out. And yeah, it just seems like another good spot for a Matt Chapman home run. On the other side, I think I like both Beltre and Andrews. I'd probably give the edge towards Andrews, but I love them both.
Yeah, I like Beltre quite a bit on the other side, but I am under the field on him. I'm just not as super interested in the Rangers side of it. I think they're a bit overowned. Joey Gallo's 26% on FanDuel. He's not a guy that should be in a quarter of the lineups.
Dang.
It's you need him to hit a home run with runners on for that to matter. He's not going to be I just got 3 singles and a stolen base.
Yeah.
He's got one option. I like him. He's only 2,600, but scary.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good fade on FanDuel. That's already really soft. He's just, you never know. He could go 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Yeah, it's just fading a guy like that, I think, is a positive expected value move almost all the time.
Yeah.
on a huge slate like this, it's just a price play. People love playing Joey Gallo. If he double dongs, then you just take the L. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good fade on FanDuel.
Agreed. Alrighty, Diamondbacks and Cubs. Diamondbacks 3.5 run implied total. Cubs 4.5. We're gonna have a big disagreement here, I think. 61% chance to win for Chicago. Clay Buchholz going for Arizona. Kyle Hendricks going for Chicago. I've got almost 3 times the field of Kyle Hendricks.
Well, yeah. I mean, I won't. I will have very limited amounts of Kyle Hendricks.
Okay.
I'm never scared to fade Kyle Hendricks on a big slate. I can always find someone in his price range that has higher upside than him. Things have got to go really, really well for Hendricks to pay off, or like be the play that you need in that range. So I'm just like, I'll go to Wheeler, I'll go to Tanaka, get up to him, or down to Pena, or there's a handful of guys I would take ahead of him. So
you named the 2 bookends there for me. From below Wheeler and above Pena, Hendricks sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't have anybody else essentially at all, and neither does the projected ownership. Everyone in the range between Wheeler and Pena is 1% owned, except for Pomeranz at 3.
Yeah, I guess he's not in that range, but I think I'd rather take a shot with Bieber over Hendricks. Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm probably not going to that range very often in between those 2 guys. So I'm not going to force in like Kyle Hendricks. That's basically my deal.
Light wind blowing in, 80 degrees. Yeah, I'm going to take my chances here. Diamondbacks, lots of swing and miss in that lineup. 3.5 run implied total, super low. It might be, 3rd lowest of the day? Yeah. But Souza projects to K 30% of the time. Avila 35% of the time. Goldschmidt Ks a lot. Jake Lamb Ks a lot. I know that Kyle Hendricks isn't exactly like this big strikeout guy, but at the very least, he's getting a team that has some swing and miss in it. And that makes me a little bit more interested. I think that's what's giving me a little bit of a boost. And at 7,200, I think there's a lot of upside there. How often does he go deep into games?
Hendricks?
Yeah. He's relatively efficient, right?
I mean, yeah, he can be. He can be.
He was earlier in the season.
100.
Lots of 7-inning, 8-inning games. Lately, it's been more in the 4s and 5s. I wonder if his velocity is falling.
Look at that pitch count, though, the last few starts. 109, 102, 113.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. It looks like he got into trouble in those last couple starts, but they're letting him go more than they have in years past. So, I mean,
I'm a huge fan of Hendricks today.
Okay, that's fair. Ownership play, I understand it. Maybe I'll get there by the time we get to the live stream, but we shall see. He's just not my favorite guy to roster.
Yeah, there's just, including him, 11 guys between Wheeler and Pena, and he is so far above those other 10 guys in that range for me, both in terms of upside and value, that's why he's just getting absolutely clobbered in that spot. Because I don't want any of those other guys. So he just becomes the guy in between 77 and 55 where it's like, okay, we'll take a shot.
Yeah.
Instead of spreading it across all of them, I guess. So, Cubs. Why aren't they owned?
Because Buchholz has actually been okay. Looks like maybe some wind blowing in. I'm not seeing a total for this game, so if you may have gotten it from another site.
I went with 8. It can't be much lower than that, can it?
It just came out right now. It literally, just as I'm saying that, it just refreshed.
8.5 and
9.
Fading high, yeah.
9, yeah.
So now I like the Cubs way more. I'll be a little bit more muted on Hendricks, but I'll still like him. But if that total's 9, I have it a full run below that. I thought I liked the Cubs before. I had 6% ownership on the Cubs on FanDuel, and we're only projecting 1. We have them way below average. And now, for me, they're one of my favorite stacks of the day.
Okay. I like Happ and Schwarber a ton. And then you got Rizzo up top for only 45. Chris Bryant's still only 45. So just kind of a head scratching prices there. No one's priced up today besides the Indians top 3. So
by the way, the Yankees total was originally 7. It's now officially opened at 8. So I'll probably like the Yanks bats a little bit more, and it may mute a little bit of Tanaka, although not that much.
I think more people are going to be on Tanaka. Only a 3.3 run total for the Rays. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Cubs are at 4.9 now. I want a lot of Cubs bats. They grade out really well for me, especially on a day where I have like unlimited amounts of money to spend on hitting.
Yeah.
Love Rizzo if he's leading off. That's one of the best spots you could really get. I like Chris Bryant a ton. Ian Happ at 2,900 on FanDuel is crazy cheap. Give me all the Cubbies.
Sure. I like the Cubs. I like the Cubs. Yeah.
Buck Colts. Let's see. Decent xFIP this season, actually. Only 38 innings.
Let's see, Buckles. I mean, he was good. I was almost to the point where I was considering playing him a few weeks ago.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it doesn't look all that impressive to me on the season for him.
236 BABIP, 38.9 hard contact rate. He's got a lot of regression coming to him in a hurry. Everything that we keep saying is making me want to smash the Cubs.
Do it. Smash the Cubs. They're going to be relatively low on, right?
Smashing the Cubs.
Yeah.
It's me smashing. He didn't see it. I was pumping my arms really hard. You got anything else here?
No, I think that's about it.
Cool.
Both like the Cubs.
Yep. Nats and Brewers. I'm going to give you the nod on pitching while I go fill my water. Nats 4.5 run implied total. Brewers 4.4. 51% chance to win for the Nats. Jeremy Hellickson going for Washington. Junior Guerra going for Milwaukee. I don't like either of the pitchers. And just like yesterday, which didn't work out, I've got like 4 times the field on Nats bats. So I will address that. Talk pitching, if you have anything to talk about.
Yeah, honestly, there's not that much to talk about for pitching here. I'm not on either of these two guys. I like Josh. I'm once again on kind of both sides of this game. Love Yelich, Thames if he's back, Shaw. And then, so those guys against Hellickson. And then against Guerra, these lefties, I just can't look at this Nats lineup and not want to stack it up. I hope Matt Adams is in this lineup instead of Zimmerman. We saw Zimmerman back yesterday, even against a righty. But either way, Zimmerman's only 3,700. Harper under 5K, Eaton under 5K, Soto under 5K. It's just Daniel Murphy hit a home run last night, so signs of life from Daniel Murphy even. So if he can start hitting anywhere close to what he's been the last couple of years, the lineup just becomes all the more scary. So I love the Nats once again. We're going to get them at low ownership. They continue to be low owned. I don't understand why. So I love hitting on both sides, especially the Nationals.
Same page there, I guess. I assume you didn't like any of the pitching?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've got 10% Nats on FanDuel. We're projecting 2. And I've got 9% on DK, and we're projecting 2. Only guy that's projecting any ownership on DraftKings right now is Bryce Harper at 9%. The rest of the team is 1. I've got a ton of Zimmerman. I've got a ton of Rendon. I've got a ton of Juan Soto on DK. I'm going to bet on these guys over and over again. I'm very happy to have them. I don't know what else to say now. I'm betting on their raw talent. Those first 6 guys are legitimately above average hitters. They shouldn't be that low owned.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, Guerra has been fine this year, but not someone that I'm worried about stacking against. So it's just good team that's going to be too low owned. So you got me in.
I think the Nats are a big reason why I'm not getting to like Yankees and Indians. They're just like, oh no, these guys are really, really good and super cheap as well. Like it's hard to get to all of those expensive outfield type dudes when, you know, Eaton's 46 and Harper's 47 or Soto's 46. Like everybody else, those above 5 guys are just hard to get to, man.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the Brewers at all?
Yeah, I like Yelich, Shaw, and Thames if he's in.
Same. I've got more than the field on FanDuel. I'm neutral with the field on DK. Thames is 3,000 on FanDuel.
Wow.
Projecting 16% ownership, so people are on it. I have 17. But I'm in for all those dudes. I'll happily take the bats in this game.
I like it.
That's all I got here. Go Nats again. I went on that rant yesterday. Got to keep it going. Tigers and Royals. I have this line right? 9. Down a little bit. Anyway. 4.7 run implied total for the Tigers. 4.5 for the Royals. 52% chance to win for the Tigers. Jordan Zimmerman going for Detroit. Birch Smith going for Kansas City. I'll pass again here on pitching. And it's a really crappy pitching slate. There are good options, and then there are options where it's just like, you know what, I'm good. I'm throwing them in the trash. Do you like Birch Smith or Jordan Zimmerman at all today?
If I'm playing one of these pitchers, it is Jordan Zimmerman, just because, yeah, he's overpriced, but it is a great matchup. KC striking out the 6th most against righties over the last month, 84 WRC plus. Like, they're not getting on base. They're not doing much of anything, hitting for power, any of that. They're just not a good team at all.
No.
And now they're striking out too. Zimmerman has been getting a lot of chases over his last 3 starts, which is valuable to me. Over 10% swinging strike rate in all 3 of them. He's definitely overpriced. There's no doubt about that. But I think he is usable here, even though he's not like a super high upside play.
Okay. This is a weird-ass game for me. I've got a ton of Royals on DK and almost none of them on FanDuel.
Wow. Who do you have for the Royals on DK?
First
Moustakas?
5. Merrifield, okay. Bonifacio, Moustakas, Perez, and Duda. I've got 6%, which is what we have the field for, so I'm neutral on them. But kind of falls off a cliff after Duda.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. They're super cheap. If you're paying up for a Nola, or like you could go Nola Paxton probably or something like that, Maeda Paxton, and fit in a full top 5 Royal stack. So I get the appeal there. You can also do that on the other side though. Like Victor Martinez is 2,700, McCann 2,700, Adduci 34, Goodrum 37, Leonis Martin 39. So I'm way more on the Tigers side than the Royals here.
So am I.
Like Tigers. Okay.
Yeah, I'm over the field on the Tigers on both sides.
Yeah, the KC bullpen, they used their best guy yesterday. Phil Meyer, is that his name?
Yeah. He pitched really well.
Yeah. So,
I opened it up and I was like, Jesus, he was the guy I thought I was going to get smashed the most.
KC, worst bullpen in the MLB, and their best guy just went yesterday. So,
what did
enjoy.
What did they finish with? 6 2/3, 3 hits, 6 Ks, 2 walks, only 1 earned. I mean, that's fucking golden for them.
That's perfect.
And they lost.
Yep.
Go Royals.
Yeah. So
I like this game, man.
it's another game stack spot. Whenever these two teams play, I mean, I'm not forcing in a game stack ever, but
Right.
I like both sides. Two really bad bullpens, especially Kansas City. So I love Detroit, but I get the KC love that you have as well.
Do they both have really bad bullpens?
Detroit's bullpen is not good.
I haven't looked recently. All right, let's see. XFIP. Royals are dead last in XFIP for relievers. Tigers are third worst. So
Yeah.
lots of crap in the back end here. That's how you blow a Heath Fillmeyer start like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on to the obvious bats of the day. Astros and Rockies. Astros, 5.6 run implied total. Rockies, 4.4. 61% chance to win for the Stros. Garrett Cole going for Houston. Tyler Anderson going for Colorado. Pitching is not on pace to be owned here. I think that's probably doing Cole a bit of a disservice. At least in course. 4.4 run implied total for the Rockies. I would have expected Cole to have a little bit more juice, but I'm not getting him either. So, maybe I need to trust it a bit. The bats here are obviously the main story. In my opinion, a clear top stack. One of the chalkiest stacks of the day. They're tied with the Rangers on DK for being the chalk stack. They're actually not that owned on FanDuel. They're like 4th or 5th. I don't know how you can come into this game and not be like Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Gurriel is the best four-man combination of the entire day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I prefer some other spots better.
Really? Why?
Anderson's good against righties. He's good overall, and he's had really good starts in Coors. So tough spot for Anderson. I don't think I can get to the point of playing him. But it's not like he can't miss bats here. So I get it. I like all those top four individually, but I think the stack as a whole is going to go completely over-owned. So I'm going to be well underweight on Houston. There are other very good teams in good spots, and I'd rather they're not as high upside as Coors Field, but I'm going to have a lot of my ownership elsewhere. I'm going to be limited on Houston stacks just because of my respect for Anderson.
Yeah, I'll pass. 5.6 run implied total, highest of the slate. 3 guys that are elite hitters at the top of the order, all righties. This is like a dream match. I'm really surprised you don't like this because this is like the dream Jake matchup.
I do like it. I just people we're gonna get 80% total ownership on them. The top 4 all in double digits. It just seems like everyone's I'm playing the chalk pitchers, and the chalk pitchers are the chalk pitchers because you can get in this Houston stack, I would assume, and the A's Rangers game. So I'm gonna try to get as different as possible with the bats.
Look, I get that. I'm going to load up on Astros, especially if they're only at 6% aggregate on FanDuel. That's way too low for me.
Sure. I agree.
That is nuts.
That's probably too low. What are they on FanDuel or DraftKings?
10% aggregate. I've got more than that too.
Wow. Over the field on the Coors for you.
Got it.
Do you like anyone on the other side?
Not a ton. A little under on FanDuel and a 0.5% over on DK. They're my 10th best stack. So, I'm fine having some of those lefties, Blackman, Parra, Cargo, but 4.4 run implied total and Garrett Cole. It's hard to get too excited. It's a tough spot.
Yeah. I love Blackman. Absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Cole has had some issues with lefty power. If you just look at Cole's swinging strike rate and his results his last few starts, he almost looks playable, even in Coors at that price. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but like when I was on the night shift, I was just like turned off by 10-9 in Coors, but it makes a little bit of sense because he's the kind of guy that can miss bats. Does he throw like a looping curve or anything like that? Because if he does, then that's a lot. Like that's just not going to move like how it should in Coors. But I can't remember what his breaking pitches are.
I have no idea. You've got a hammer, curve,
slider and curve. So I don't know if he stays. Who knows? If he stays away from the curve, he may be able to be okay and rack up strikeouts. But swinging strike rates of at least 16.7% in his last 3 starts. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst spot, but I do really love Blackman, especially against him. So there's your reason to play Cole. Like if he misses bats in Coors, it's just like what we say when we want to play Anderson. If you're missing bats, the weather doesn't matter.
Right. Very true. Speaking of the weather, I didn't actually look at what's going on there. Gorgeous. Seems like a nice place to take in a game today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't get off the Astros. I'll die on that hill tonight. Rockies are gonna make me nervous.
Yeah.
I want to like Cole more than I do, especially at 2%. But I mean, if I go to 5%, I'll be happy, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the type of play I would make. Like, I would probably go a little bit more aggressive if I'm playing Cole, but he's not someone that's anywhere near an all-in play at Coors. I don't think that's a sharp play, but
Agreed.
I think being over the field is going to be worth it for me, probably.
Agreed. I'm with you there. White Sox and Angels. 3.7 run implied total for the White Sox. 5 run implied total for the Angels. The 63% chance to win for the Angels. Carlos Rodon going for Chicago. Felix Pena going for the Angels. And oh boy, Felix Pena getting some ownership. Pena at 5,500 on DK. He has 38% projected ownership. And I got 34 on my first crunch, so I get it. 100% get it. The White Sox are, I mean, bad's probably not even the right word for it. They strike out so much. This is as good of a spot as you're going to get for a pitcher, especially at this bargain price. Talk to me about Felix Pena.
Pena he's got, when you look at whiffs per swing rate, this is all this information is in the Spotlight Pitchers as well. So I'm just sort of summarizing. His slider has the highest whiffs per swing rate of all starting pitchers this year at over 57%. That's above Kyle Gibson by a couple percent, which is substantial. And righties especially are going to have a really tough time. He could definitely get touched up by the lefties with some hard contact. So I'm worried about Moncada and Palka to some extent. But man, 5,500. This is the spot I've been waiting for Pena. I hope it's a more righty-heavy lineup than what we're seeing right now. I'd like to see 5 righties, but even if there's just 4, I'm going to be over the field on Pena, I'm pretty sure. And this is, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but this would be the type of all-in play, like a guy at 5,500. He's at home against a team that strikes out. Hopefully, majority right-handed bats. Because even if he busts and gets you like 7 or 8 points, he's still not going to kill you on this slate.
Not at all.
So
that's why he's 38% owned.
Yeah, yeah. So
you don't die if he goes bad.
Exactly. That's why this would be the type of play maybe in the past that I would go all in on, even at that ownership.
So I do like the Angels a little bit. I've got double the field on FanDuel, almost double on DK. It's 9 righties against a lefty, so it's hard to want to look a different direction. On FanDuel, they've got crazy cheap guys like Jeffrey Marte or Jabari Blash, who, while I don't love them as baseball players, they're either minimum salary or 100 below or 100 above the minimum. Makes it a little bit easier to get to guys like Trout and Upton. But I'm pretty fond of those first 5 guys in this lineup. 6 if you want to count Kinsler, but I'm not a huge fan of him right now. I'm going to load up on the Angels. I'll be double the field there.
Yeah, man, I didn't realize how bad Kinsler's been against lefties this year. 35 WRC plus. Not striking out, but not hitting the ball hard, not getting on base. ISO super, super low. Upton kind of the same thing. Not that bad, but striking out a ton. So I'm going to go with Trout, Simmons, Fletcher. I like those 3. And they're they're pretty cheap in total, even with Trout's $6K price tag. The other 2 guys bring it down quite a bit if you want to stack them up. Not crazy about Blash, Maldonado, Marte, or Kinsler at the bottom, but I mean, I'd probably have more mini stacks than anything in this LA lineup. I don't love them all against lefties, just a select few.
So I think this is a really good spot for a White Sox hedge stack. They grade out pretty well for me, like without looking at any of their ownership. Just like team ratings that I have, they slot in more with the teams that I have owned in like the 30 to, let's say, the 4 to 5% aggregate range. But I'm not getting any of them right now, and I think that they're in a decent spot to force in like a couple lines, maybe 5, 6 if you're playing 150, just because of Peña's just giant ownership. This is the spot where I like being on the opposite side. Most of that will be Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu, Palka, Avasel, Garcia. I don't want to go too much lower than that. And they don't have much ownership. So I'd like to get to probably somewhere in like the 3% aggregate on DK for the White Sox to hedge a little bit of Felix Peña.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. We got some funny people in there today. A lot more positivity in chat today. Some fake trolling.
Maybe that's because of the tie.
Maybe, yeah. You finally cleaned up your act, Josh.
Had to.
So, I mean, anytime you get a guy with 40% ownership, and people love playing the $5,500 players, me included. I love playing the pitchers like this, and having well over the field, even at chalk. So, yeah, I mean, the White Sox do have some power, Moncada and Palka especially, but we know Abreu can hit righties. I don't even know if I'm going to hedge stack. Like, if I have whatever, like, let's say I double the field and I have 75% ownership on Peña, it probably makes sense to play some White Sox stacks just so I don't go crazy if it goes off for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not crazy about the stack. I think it would just be more Moncada, Palka, take a couple leverage bats.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at it like if Peña were 7,500, I'd have less Peña, but it wouldn't change the fact that I think the White Sox are like a higher ranked stack than I have them. I have them in the aggregate on a dollar for dollar basis in line with the Rockies. And I have some of the Rockies. So, like, I think they're there because they're so cheap. With, Abreu at 3,500. All these guys are basically under 4 except for Avasel Garcia. So I can fit them pretty easily. I'm willing to do that against that 38% Felix Peña ownership. Whether that works out or not, who knows? But I think I want to get to a couple percent aggregate here.
Yeah. You're very logical. You sound very logical. I don't know if I can be because I've been waiting for this Peña spot for a while.
Oh, I'll still have 35% Peña.
Yeah.
If that goes tits up, I'd like to have at least a couple extra bullets here.
If Peña was like 7K, I think I might even be higher on him because I don't think a lot of people would play him. But 5,500, everyone's going to be on him, so I'm kind of bummed about that.
That's why I love the White Sox. Well, love is strong.
Yeah.
Final game. Giants and Mariners, and we have been saving arguably the best for last, depending on how you want to talk about it. 3.1 run implied total for the Giants, 4.2 for the Mariners. 64% chance to win for said Mariners. Andrew Suarez going for San Francisco, and I don't have him today. James Paxton going for Seattle. There's some chalk for you. 46% aggregate ownership on DK. I don't know why I said aggregate. 46% ownership on DK. 33% on FanDuel. He is the chalk pitcher by a mile from the high end. Just for reference, of all the guys at 10K or higher on DK, Nola 6, Maeda 1. Nope, that's my numbers. Nola 10, Maeda 7, Garrett Cole 2, Barrios 3, James Paxton 46.
Wow.
Floor is yours, Jake. Where are you at on Paxton?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting this ownership because he threw that bullpen, or I keep calling it bullpen, like simulated start. I read that somewhere, and now I can't find it. Maybe it was on the DK homepage. Let's see if I can find that quick. But anyways, he threw this bullpen session. I don't know how many pitches he's going to be allowed to throw. Hasn't made a start, a real start in 17 days. So that's concerning, especially when you're playing him at chalk. I mean, this makes me more want to go to a Nola or a Maeda or even a Garrett Cole in that same sort of price range because of the uncertainty with Paxton. Who knows if he's fully healthy? Yeah, so he says, got through a 40-pitch, oh, it was bullpen session. That's why I called it bullpen session. Saturday without setbacks. It remains on target to start Tuesday against the Giants. Got up to 40 pitches in the bullpen. Let some rip, no problems. Okay, who knows what that means? Like, it's a bullpen session. So I don't know what that means for his pitch count, honestly. And that's what worries me. So 46% is tough for me to get to a lot of Paxton, honestly.
I think it's crazy that he got to 46%. My data agrees with it. It was still even aggressive in my... Like, when I first looked at it, I saw how much higher he was than some of the others in some of my value metrics. So I was like, okay, Paxton's going to pop. I didn't expect him and then everyone else.
Kind of crazy.
I think they're, like... Nola, Maeda, Cole, and Barrios only make up 22% total themselves. All four of those guys are half of Paxton.
Right. Yeah.
He's a guy that I want to dig into a little bit more. I need to know more about his health and the expectations.
Yeah. He's coming off the DL. Like, hasn't made a full start in 2.5 weeks. There are some red flags, and if people are just jumping right back in on him, that's understandable. He's super talented. If he's healthy, I think that he should be the chalk at this price, and he probably is healthy. They're not going to risk it with him, I don't think. But it's not like there aren't good bats on the Giants side, too.
I think that this is a key spot to
Yeah.
pay attention to the line for the rest of the day.
To see what Vegas thinks of Paxton's health.
Yeah, like... If that Giants line climbs from 3.1 to like 3.4 or something, I think that's a pretty aggressive sign that as information is coming in, we're tempering expectations. But for right now, if it stays like this and the Giants have the lowest implied total by a lot,
right,
I'm going to have to go with it. I'll have to use that as my barometer.
Right.
Giants haven't been good against against lefties this year. 90 weighted runs created plus, below average slugging and ISO. So all the signs are there. I just need to know how healthy he is.
Yeah, and even if they say like 85 pitches is his limit, I think he's probably usable at 10-2 just because of his massive strikeout upside. But I'm a little worried about McCutchen, Posey, Longoria. Hundley crushes lefties, and so I don't think I'm going to stack against Paxton. It's not a good park, but I might have some leverage bats in there just because I'm not going to be overweight on Paxton. There's just no way.
Yeah, so this is a good example to talk about why I wanted to go to the White Sox. The Giants grade out poorly. Second worst overall team of the entire slate. So I don't want to leverage to the Giants because I think they suck. The White Sox just happened to grade out a little bit better for me. So I thought that that was a good spot to try to hedge that ownership. But I would not go to the Giants at all. I wouldn't mind, like, you know, a one-off Posey as my catcher, righty-lefty. I think that's fine. Or even, you know, Longoria would be fine as well. But I don't need to grab, like, outfielders and stuff against Paxton.
Sure.
We want to look at crunches?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do. I'm on FanDuel right now. That's annoying. Should just get it out of the way, but, you know. FanDuel. Basically just all James Paxton and Felix Pena lineups. Come on.
Oh, no. Do we lose the crunches?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably. If I had to guess. Seems like we've been doing that a lot lately. When I'm streaming, it's Fantasy Cruncher just doesn't move quickly. Just holds itself up. I don't know why. Oh, we got him. All right, give me 2 pitchers.
Paxton. Wait, let's try like Paxton and Tanaka.
I got 2 of them. And they're both good.
Tigers, I like that.
Tigers, Betts, Devers,
Ooh.
Paul DeJong.
That's good.
Or Tigers, Altuve, Marwin Gonzalez, and Bryce.
Okay. I like that.
As do I.
So it's going to look about the same with Paxton and Wheeler, right? I mean, for the most part.
There's my Nats. Yeah, a lot of Tigers. There's
Pricing
the
is soft today.
Rangers combo, 2-man Tigers, and a Gurriel. I don't mind that.
Pricing is very soft today.
It is very soft.
What else?
So I'm gonna grab. I want to grab a line with Kyle Hendricks to see sort of what that appeal is for me.
Okay.
Since I have so much Kyle Hendricks, I want to see what the lineup construction looks like there.
Hendricks Pena.
Yeah, so obviously the gigantic Astros bats to start. Harper, Wieters, Semien. I don't love the idea of Wieters there. I would probably want to swap that out and go to... I would take Posey in that situation and like that lineup. Man, you could buy whatever you want if you have Hendricks and Pena.
Pretty much. Look at that. Full Astros with Betts, Molina, Ozuna. Like it's Hobart Bailey.
5 A's with Altuve, Martinez, and Springer. That's like $16,000 in essentially one-offs.
Yeah, man. Get those bats in there today. Pena's the key, I think.
Yeah.
Let's do
Hendricks Weaver, I think, is a really nice combination, at least on my end. Because I'm still getting Jerko, Harper, Ozuna, and then, you know, most of the nuts of the Astros.
Yeah.
God, I love the Astros today. All right, give me one more. Oh, I lost chat.
You will not be alone. Too much talk. Pirates stack. Too much chalk, sorry.
I was like, man, wow.
Anything in the chat? Do a Pena Wheeler.
You know, Wheeler? I got 14 lines of Pena Wheeler.
That's beautiful. Red Sox in there, and this will be a popular combination for me and for a lot of people.
Yeah, what's the breakdown there? Pena Wheeler is what? 45 on Wheeler, 38 on Pena. That's 17% of all of the field.
That's so much.
Yeah. I've got
they're going to be used
14 of 150, so I've got 9% of this combo. That makes me happy. I mean, it's loaded. You do whatever you want. Iannetta and Coors, Pinder, Semien, and a 5-man Red Sox stack. Sure.
Yeah.
You can get another 5-man Red Sox stack with Salvador Perez, Moose Tacos, and Paul DeJong. Why not?
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Man, the bats are going to be interesting today.
Yeah, but it's going to be. Your lineup should look pretty good.
Should I go back to FanDuel now?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Anything interesting in chat? Nope. What does your top value pitchers look like in my model? Paxton, 25% chance of being a top 2. And then it's Nola at 17, Maeda 13, Cole 14, Barrios 12. So they're all kind of bunched together. Best value guys, Hendricks is the best combination. For me, Hendricks is the best combination of upside and price. Pena as well. Huge chances of being a top scoring pitcher and a value pitcher. I like going that direction.
For me, it's Wheeler, Pena. Let's see. Who else is on here? Bieber actually comes up as a decent value, but that's probably more because of his average DK score. Paxton, if he's fully healthy. Yeah, that's about it.
I can't even imagine what these just Paxton lineups are going to look like on FanDuel.
What is he on FanDuel?
He's 9,300 on FanDuel. That's 1,200 cheaper than Barrios. It's 1,700 cheaper than Nola. He's cheaper than everybody. He's cheaper than he's cheaper than Cole. He's cheaper than Maeda. He's cheaper than Nola. He's cheaper than Barrios, and he's already the best option. So it's gonna be big time. Yeah.
Lauer or no today? William Frazier asks.
Not really.
Late. Not for me. I don't think he's good. I expect Lauer to creep up there in ownership as people pivot off of Pena. I have to think that he gets more than 8%. If he was going to be super chalky yesterday, and I don't see why today would be any different with so many bats in the slate.
If these James Paxton lineups are just filled with the top 4 or 5 guys of multiple teams. 1, 2, 3, 4 Oakland, 1, 2, 4, 5 Cardinals.
Pretty good.
That's FanDuel, man. You can do whatever you want today.
You can do everything you want on FanDuel every day.
That's probably true.
If you get like an 8K pitcher, you can stack every team.
Yeah. All right, people. Spotlight hitters, pitchers, and stacks are out. Yes?
Yep.
Yes, they are. I'll have quick hits out, somewhere in the noon to 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere in that area. Live stream tonight will be Jake and Chris, so no Joshy today. Which I'm
Dong
happy
picks
about.
will be tonight. Dong picks will be tonight.
I'll be in chat for Dong picks.
Yeah.
I'm
on fire.
Yes, you are on fire. I made a pork shoulder yesterday, so I have a ton of pulled pork, so I don't have to cook dinner. So I'll probably be in chat a lot. So yeah, tune into all of that. Do you guys have a job? Yeah, you're looking at it.
This is our job.
This is my job.
That's a funny question. You guys have a job?
Yeah, I do. It's dope as shit too.
I've burned a ton of unsaid pitchers from these two guys' advice. Trust your own bets. Yeah, trust your own bets. You get to pick your lineups.
Look, that's very true. He's not being mean about that. He's just saying trust yourself. You should.
Yeah, you can take what we say and fade it. You can take what we say and play it.
That's the whole reason I try to get better. Yeah. I would have a source of information that I really liked to use, and they would go away. And it was like, well, fuck, how am I going to continue to be able to do this stuff? And I was just like, finally, I need to rely on no one. So I started creating all my own data, all my own projections, everything, because I don't want to be relying on everybody. I think everybody should do that. I treat this show as like a round table. I want to have discussions and talk things through, see if I'm looking at things in a way that I shouldn't, And, maybe it'll make me lean a different direction.
Agreed.
Peter Works, do you pay the same monthly subscription on Fantasy Crunch? I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, I don't understand. You can buy a Fantasy Cruncher if that's what you're looking for. It's online.
Yes, it is. Michael, congrats yesterday.
Yeah,
thanks to everybody for being here. We've been going for a while. We need to get out of here. Hour and 45 minutes. These things have been going long with these damn 14-game slates. So best of luck. Tune in to the live stream tonight, and we'll talk to you again in the morning.
See you guys.
Bye.